Welcome to this special edition of The Plural of Denial is Not Science. We're excited to bring you some of the UK's most eminent denialists. Dr. Ben Aker will share with us what led to his self-confessed obsession with sugar pills. Physicist Simon Says, in a world exclusive, has promised to reveal the secret of his gravity-defying haircut. And if we're truly lucky, we may be able to speak with Professor Avogadro himself. But today we have none other than the man described on Wikipedia as the world's first professor of complementary medicine, and the man responsible for much of the research that's used to prove that homeopathy doesn't work and is nothing more than the placebo effect. Please welcome today Professor Ernie Izzard. The professor's pretty busy right now looking for a job, but he has promised to give us a short interview by phone. We've patched him in by satellite, so let's see if he's there. Hello? Hello, Professor? Hello? Good afternoon, Professor. Thank you very much for taking the time out to speak with us today.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Professor, would you like to tell our viewers a little more about who you are?
Yeah, I am the expert in all of the complementary and alternative medicines. I am the only person that can speak about the research into comes because I have done all the research myself. I have millions of the research papers to my name.
You've carried out millions of research trials, Professor? That's incredible. Where do you find the time?
Well, I have not personally done the trials, but I have teams of people working and I have checked all the results and they are everyone correct. I have also conducted several meta-analyses and systematic reviews into the matter and they are correct also. Everything I do is correct. I am the expert, verstehen? And I am from the Austria and we are the most correct in the entire world.
Talking about your research, in particular your trial of arnica for the trauma of wrist surgery, did you not first discuss your methodology with a homeopathic student? I would imagine that a first-year student would advise that arnica is not the first choice in post-surgical trauma, and there are many other homeopathic remedies which would be more effective in such a scenario.
Well, they are the students. How will they know anything? I am trained in the homeopathy. My selection of the arnica is correct, and the results I have checked, and they are correct also.
Okay, let's move on to your trial with asthma. What criteria did you use to measure outcome?
Quality of life, described by the children and the parents who, after all, should be knowing. A great example of a well-designed trial which showed again that the homeopathy is the placebo only. It cannot work, therefore it does not work.
But what about the placebo effect there? Would it not have been a better measure of outcome to, say, compare the number and severity of asthmatic events over a period of time?
Yeah, but the children had only mild to moderate asthma, so that was not reliable. But the quality of life, now that is a real, reliable measure.
Have you not argued, Professor, that in effectiveness studies done by homeopaths that quality of life is too subjective to be considered useful?
But that is when the camp people, they are picking out the big cherries.
Let me get this clear, Professor. If the parents reported initially that the quality of life of their children was already very good, how could that be expected to improve sufficiently to be statistically significant?
Well, that was a little awkward. But today the people, they only read the title of the research paper and maybe the conclusion.
Okay, let's leave research for now. I'd like to ask, if I may, about the book that you wrote with Simon Says, titled Scam or Viable Therapeutic Option. You talk a lot in that book about the need for evidence, and yet I noticed that you don't really give any references to substantiate your claims, and I wondered if that was to save paper.
More references? The book refers constantly to the quacks and the complementary medicines.
In your book you say that you're very much in favor of science and against opinion.
Absolutely.
Yet you say that homeopathy is implausible. Is that not an opinion also, Professor? As a scientist and expert, is it not your duty to investigate that implausibility with an open mind?
But this is different. This is the homeopathy we are speaking about.
I want to quote you a sentence from your book, if I may. It's on page 1 of the introduction, and it's credited to Hippocrates, but you don't give an actual reference. I quote, "There are, in fact, two things, science and opinion. The former begets knowledge, the latter ignorance."
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you go on to say, and I quote, "Science employs experiments, observations, trials, arguments, and discussion in order to arrive at an objective consensus on the truth." Would you not say that consensus is actually nothing more than a generally agreed opinion, according to Webster's dictionary?
Well, yeah, of course, but that opinion is informed and objective and made by the scientists, not a belief system like the quacks subscribe to.
If I can continue, Professor, you say, and again I quote, "In contrast, opinions are subjective and conflicting, and whoever has the most persuasive PR campaign has the best chance of promoting their opinion regardless of whether they are right or wrong." Do you think that impacts the current situation in any way?
No, because we are talking about scientists and the experts like me. And our opinions are obviously correct because we are the experts.
You recently wrote an article for the American Medical Journal in which you advocated a closed mind on homeopathy. Is it possible that that might just get in the way of you performing an unbiased meta-analysis?
A good article co-authored with Professor Tree. We both got the awards, you know, for our anti-cam work. My award was for the honesty in investigating the complementary medicine. I think they were particularly impressed with my work on the meta-analyses into homeopathy.
But what about the closed mind bit?
First, I am the scientist, and then the author, and always I am the expert.
I wanted to ask you about the role of clinical experience in evidence-based medicine.
Well, it is of course a very important aspect of the definition.
And yet every case that's resolved by homeopathy is disregarded as anecdotal evidence? There's a joke going around the blogs right now, and I quote, "The plural of anecdotes is not data."
Yeah, quite a good one, that one, no?
What do you say, Professor, about the suggestion that the plural of denial is not science?
I'm sorry, I cannot understand the question.
Professor Izzard, I remember reading an interview you gave to the Gruniad newspaper back in 2003, in which you said that you had seen homeopathy working in a hospital situation. I wondered what happened between then and now.
We must ride on the horse that is running. Besides, the nice people said they would make me a world expert.
I'm sorry, Professor, our time's up. We'll have to leave it there. Thanks again for your time, and good luck with finding a job. That's all for this special edition of The Plural of Denial is Not Science. Make sure you tune in again when we'll hear the confessions of Dr. Ben Aker and his problem with sugar pills, and the world exclusive from Simon Says about his gravity-defying haircut. And remember, favourite quote, "If you don't take care of your body, where are you going to live?"